An art exhibit by the Center for Sexual and Relationship Violence Support Services shares stories from sexual assault victims, where to find the event, and what it hopes to accomplish.
Learn all about Her Week, a week of events towards supporting women in their professional development.
With measles cases on the rise, Robert F. Kennedy is speaking out. Hear what he has to say and more updates on the outbreak.
Extreme weather conditions continue to befall the U.S. this spring season. All these stories and more as Kent Stater TV News starts right now.
This is Kent Stater TV.
Good evening, Portage County. Thank you so much for joining us at Kent Stater TV News. I'm Michael Neenan.
And I'm Nikki Gajeski.
Nikki, I noticed something. We were talking about it earlier today, but I noticed you were wearing some pink. Why is that?
Yeah, it's in honor of Her Week starting, and with this, the Kent chapter is encouraging everyone to wear pink and create a pink out on campus. But for more on Her Week and other campus events, we have Emilio Hernandez here.
That's right, guys. I'm here today to bring you stories from across campus. Today is the start of Her Week, a week of events tailored towards supporting women in their professional development. Her Week lasts from today, April 7th, to Friday, April 11th. Tomorrow, April 8th, there's a Her Advocacy event in the Taylor Hall Reflection Gallery from 5:30 to 8, where there'll be an FFI film screening and activity with K-Surge. Tim Misney is the name of a renowned attorney and entrepreneur many of you might be familiar with. If you've been to Cleveland, you've probably seen one of his many billboards. Mr. Misney will be hosting a Q&A session about his success next Monday, April 14th in the Kiva from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. The doors open for the event at 4:30 p.m. And after the Q&A, there'll be a meet and greet from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. The Center for Sexual and Relationship Violence Support Services are hosting a What Were You Wearing art installation at the Kent State and the Williamson House from 8 a.m. today for April 7th to 4 p.m. Friday, April 11th. The exhibit will feature stories from victims of sexual assault, next to a recreation of what they were wearing at the time. The exhibit aims to break down the myth that what someone wears encourages or asks for an assault. Tomorrow, April 8th, the LGBTQ Center will be hosting the second entry in a training series called Safe Space. Safe Space, Trans 101, will allow participants to understand the concept of privilege, provide basic information and language, and give recommendations for how to work in solidarity with the trans community. Trans 101 will be held in the Kent Student Center, room 024, from 1 p.m. to 3 p.m. And that's all I have for today, folks. I'm Emilio Hernandez, and for more stories like this, go to kentstater.com.
Thanks, Amelia. Well, Saturday was the first time that the Haymakers Farmers Market was outside.
Our reporter Liv Sharp was there to speak to local vendors and pick up some local goods. Liv, did you pick up anything at the market?
Oh, you guys know I did. There's no way you can go to a farmer's market without getting anything. But if you would like to, there's definitely plenty of opportunities as Franklin Avenue comes to life on Saturdays with a farmer's market that encourages Kent residents to, quote, eat like locals.
I think we focus a lot on local food, that we want local food producers and the local people in our community that we're serving. So we find those relationships at the market that we see year after year. They keep growing, that we've been very successful at finding people at the market who care about local food, and they keep coming back.
The market boasts dozens of stalls offering fresh produce, international cuisine, baked goods, and much, much more. Products are also fresh from local farms that Rome visits to learn more about their processes. And the market continues to grow with new businesses being added by the weekend, like Rolling Refreshments.
I actually went to Kent State. I graduated last year, and it was wonderful living up here, wonderful being up here. I wanted to stay connected to the community with my business, and when you think of Kent, you think of the Haymaker Farmers Market, so I knew it had to be one of the first places.
The Haymakers Farmers Market is open every Saturday from 10 to 1, rain or shine. Reporting for KSTV, I'm Liv Sharp.
Your first forecast on Kent Stater TV.
Hello, it is time for the first forecast. After last night's snow, I'm sure you're wondering what is happening. So let's take a look at the current temperatures in Kent. Currently, it's not really snowing, but there is a 98% chance of what the National Weather Service likes to call precipitation potential. I thought that was kind of funny, but that means it's supposed to be raining right now a lot. It's about 44 degrees, and tonight it's going to dip a little bit cooler, and that might turn into some sleet, but you know, it's still kind of just bleh weather. The wind is going northwest from 10 to 15 miles per hour. Not the worst, but not the best kind of wind, and it is 98% cloud cover to match our 98% precipitation potential. But looking a little bit further into the night, tonight the temperatures will drop from 39 degrees at 7 p.m. to 32 degrees at 9 p.m. and then 29 degrees at 11 p.m. At 7, it is definitely going to be precipitating. It will probably be kind of sleet, snow, somewhere in there, because it's going to be 39 degrees, but it's going to be dropping, so it's going to be not the best weather. At 9 p.m., not really any chance of precipitation, and at 11 p.m. there isn't. If you are looking to see the stars and see the waxing gibbous moon tonight, I would do it at 11 p.m. since that is the time where there's the least amount of cloud cover. And then going further into tomorrow morning, it's going to be around 34 degrees throughout the day, and there's going to be a low of 24 in the morning, or 25 in the morning. It's not going to be that great of weather, but the clouds will dissipate throughout the day, and you'll see some sun. But you know, that's all I have for tomorrow's forecast, but stay tuned for the statewide temperatures and the extended outlook. For now, let's drive on over to the desk with Nikki.
Thanks, Jenny, for the pun. Gas prices are once again accelerating as Northeast Ohio will be seeing increases at the pump. Gas Buddy reports Akron drivers will be paying $3.15 per gallon, roughly a 12-cent jump. Clevelanders will be filling their tank at $3.13, almost 11-cent increase. The nation's seeing an 11-cent increase, but petroleum analysis at Gas Buddy predicts an eventual decrease if tariffs aren't scaled back.
Protesters lined the streets of downtown Kent as a nationwide protest broke out. More to come on these events.
President Trump addresses his recent tariff imports from countries around the world. Find out what he is asking from other countries in order to back down.
Good morning. Hope you all had a good weekend and are ready to be inspired. One quick thing I want to remind you guys to be studying.
Major key alert. Did you just look at your phone while you was in class? You played yourself.
Class, today we're talking about inspirational quotes.
You want to get that paper? You better turn in that paper and get an A+. That's a major key. Another one. Mogul talk. You want to reach the mountaintop? You got to go hard. To succeed, you have to believe. Stay focused. Fly higher than the eagle. Don't ever play yourself. The key is to make it, so make it.
Louise, can you give me an example of an inspirational quote from recent history?
Don't play yourself. The key is to make it.
And who said that?
I did. Now that's a major key alert.
Learn the real major keys to getting to college at getschool.com.
Tomorrow's news.
Imagine what you'd see if every child had a book to read. 'Cause every kid across the nation deserves a book to read, and we can make it happen right now.
No, I don't know what you've been told, but kids with books learn so much more.
So the mission is for us to get a book to each and every child.
So let's join hands, book people unite,
Unearth hidden passion.
so Mama have a good time.
Seeds of inspiration to motivate some magic.
Change the writing on the wall. Writing on the wall.
And make a difference. One book can inspire a child. One book can be the first thing that helps to change a life. People unite.
Read to a child today and spark a lifetime of ambition.
Tomorrow's news leaders.
Today's top stories.
From an award-winning student newsroom.
This is Kent Stater TV.
Your community.
Your stories.
Welcome back. Well, Michael, there was quite the crowd in the city of Kent this weekend.
Yes, that's right, and that crowd was due to a series of national protests across all 50 states. Our reporter Landry Torres has the story. Hi, Landry.
Hi guys, and that is right. Downtown Kent was packed this Saturday as the hands-off protest took place. I was able to attend the event and speak with some of the activists about their efforts. Saturday, protesters filled the streets of downtown Kent to participate in the hands-off protest. This event was a nationwide effort of protests that broke out across every state in the country. Protesters were holding signs and chanting in opposition of Donald Trump and Elon Musk.
It is basically just about how we don't really have democracy anymore, and it's not really going the way that it should be, and it is starting to be like a repeating history.
Many of the signs were calling out Trump's national policies, but others were there to express further concerns over policies that would affect their everyday lives in regards to recent changes in DEI.
This total destruction of our government by a bulldozer, by a blowtorch, is absolutely the dumbest thing that could happen. And it will affect everyone right down to Kent, Ohio.
People that are having their voices silenced will know that they're not alone and that there are other people that are there for them and that support them, even if they can't speak up.
Protesters said they believe their actions will demonstrate America's voice and send a message that Trump can't act without limits, and that the protest was an effort to restore democracy.
I hope this shows that we have power and that the American people are able to speak out. I also hope this shows that we aren't happy and that, yes, he won the election, but doesn't mean he gets to do whatever he thinks.
Time I have for tonight. You can find more stories like this by visiting our website, kentstater.com. For KSTV, I'm Landry Torres.
Thank you, Landry. The protest in Kent wasn't an isolated event. Millions across the United States came out in protest of President Donald Trump and his administration. The protests, called hands-off demonstrations, assembled in 1,200 locations across all 50 U.S. states in response to the Trump administration's policies on the economy and immigration, as well as government downsizing. Keeping things in the country, turn our attention to our very own Trinity Chapman for more national headlines.
What can you tell us, Trinity?
That's right, guys. From meetings to accidental deportations, politics in the U.S. have been in action. Tonight, I'll be covering recent national headlines to help keep you updated. Starting off with President Donald Trump speaking with reporters while also addressing the trade deficits with China yesterday evening.
When you look at the trade deficit that we have with certain countries, way over $1 billion per country. But with China, it's $1 trillion. And we have to solve our trade deficit with China. We have $1 trillion trade deficit with China. Hundreds of billions of dollars a year we lose with China. And unless we solve that problem, I'm not going to make a deal.
President Trump stands firm on his decisions to not back down on his recent tariffs on imports from other countries. Trump expressed that the only way he will back down is if other countries agree to even out their trades with the United States. Top White House economic advisor Kevin Hassett stated that countries are, quote, angry and retaliating, end quote. 50 countries have since reached out to the White House to form a deal. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu arrives in Washington ahead of his meeting with President Trump earlier today.
There's a lot of things going on with the Middle East right now that have to be silenced. You know, we had no problem with the Middle East. Everything was done. We had no problem with Iran. We had no problem with anybody. And then you had October 7th. And that was all because Iran, as you know, was not giving money to anybody because they had no money. Now they have a lot of money. So we'll see what happens.
The White House canceled press meetings today in preparation for President Trump's meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Just ahead of the meeting, President Trump's new tariffs has begun levying on Israel and the rest of the world. After the two indulged in meetings and lunch, President Trump stated, quote, "I think we've come to some pretty good solutions and conclusions," end quote. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. posted on social media Sunday that MMR vaccines are the best ways to prevent measles. Kennedy's comments come after a second child had contracted the virus. Texas is among 20 other states that are currently dealing with a measles outbreak. Although Kennedy earlier dismissed the virus outbreak in Texas, he had visited to show the support for the child. A federal judge has denied the Trump administration's motion to pause an order to return a man who was mistakenly deported to El Salvador. Last Friday, a federal judge addressed the federal government to return Kilmar Abrego Garcia by Monday night. Although the administration had appealed the ruling, the judge wrote in the order stating, quote, remains in full force and effect, end quote. The government says that it was an administrative error. That's all the political news I have for you tonight, Portage County. For more information, be sure to visit kentstater.com. For Kent Stater TV, I'm Trinity Chapman.
Thank you, Trinity. The stock market is now entering bear market territory, meaning it's at a 20% decline. If the S&P hit this benchmark, it'd be the second fastest peak to bear market shift in history. The record holder shift belongs to the 2020 pandemic. NASDAQ is also experiencing a drop in addition to this pending bear market. These changes come at the same time as Trump's recent round of tariffs begin.
This is your Kent Stater TV Sports Report.
Not quite sports. The spring weather seems to be taking a dangerous turn as the U.S. is seeing extreme rain conditions. Sunday, southern regions and the Midwest saw heavy rain resulting in 18 deaths. Arkansas, Tennessee, and Kentucky are reported among the hardest hit states, but Alabama, Georgia, and Florida saw tornado warnings. For more things weather, we turn to our weather reporter, Jenny Zaborowski.
Thank you, Nikki. April showers do in fact bring Mayflowers, and this weather block is going to be bringing you these statewide temperatures. Let's start down in Cincy. In Cincy right now, it is around 57 degrees, pretty sunny, pretty nice degrees, but there is a freeze warning tonight until I think it's around 11 p.m. And then there's also a flood advisory tonight and then a flood warning tonight as well. So, watch out for that. Going a little bit more into central Ohio and Columbus, there is a freeze warning tonight. And going a little bit further south into Athens, there's also a freeze warning tonight. So, if you're planning on planting some flowers or whatnot, I'd put a bag over that, make sure it's well insulated so your plants don't freeze and die. Going up north towards Toledo, it's around 43 degrees, but there's a flood warning tonight. So, there's warnings here, there, and everywhere. Going a little bit further east towards Akron, Canton, it's around 48 degrees. No really warnings there. And in Pittsburgh, it's around 55. No warnings there either. But taking a closer look at the Northeast Ohio temperatures, in Akron, Canton, again, it's around 48 degrees. In Ashtabula, it's about 39 degrees. In Sandusky, it's 39. In Cleveland, it's 36. And those three areas are all under a small craft advisory. So, if you really want to go out on a boat, don't do it. I believe it's until tomorrow at around 4 p.m. Mansfield is around 46 degrees, and Worcester is around 48 degrees. Worcester has a flood advisory, and Kent is at a nice 39 degrees, and Youngstown is 48. Looking a little bit further into the week, it's going to get a lot warmer and a little bit rainier. But, when you head out tomorrow morning, make sure you grab a warm jacket, which you can then put it back in your closet this weekend, only to take out again next week. I'm Jenny Zaborowski, and let's head over to the desk with Michael Neenan.
Yes, thank you, Jenny. A massive limestone burial chamber was unearthed in Egypt that archaeologists say could shed light on the poorly understood Abydos dynasty that ruled about 36,000 years ago in the region. The tomb dated to 2600 BC after it was discovered in January by researchers from the University of Pennsylvania. The hieroglyphics on the tomb were presumably damaged by grave robbers.
Following his hospital leave, Pope Francis made his first official public appearance post-hospitalization. Sunday, the Pontiff appeared at the Vatican in a wheelchair. The public show was not previously announced or planned. The religious leader's voice was noticeably weaker, but an improvement from prior weeks. Francis's doctors advise he still needs 2 months to recover.
The Cavaliers were unable to protect home court against the Sacramento Kings last night. we'll look at how Sacramento was able to take down the East's #1 seed.
I feel like her heartbeat is like same speed as mine, and I think we have this like deep connection, this heart connection in her heart, that there's room for me and Mom. When I'm holding her, it makes me feel calmer. It's a sensory thing. It's a thing with Asperger's.
She's really good with Anya. I've seen adults react to my daughter when she has meltdowns like she's from a different planet. And this little animal just sat next to my child and was just like, you know, it's gonna be cool. She's my superhero.
Good job, Kit Kat.
When we adopted Lucky, we discovered all the wonderful things that make her unique.
Lucky's a little bit of a lot of things, but mostly she's pure love.
This is your Kent Stater TV Sports Report.
Hello everyone, I'm Maddox Miller, and today I'm live in the newsroom, and there is plenty of sports news to sort through, so let's get started on the baseball diamond, where the Kent State baseball team swept their weekend series against Central Michigan to extend their winning streak to 11. The Sunday game was a 9-4 victory for the Flashes to improve to 10-2 in MAC play. Junior shortstop Luke Matthews led the team with 3 hits and 3 RBIs, and sophomore outfielder Alejandro Covas was close behind, getting 2 hits and 2 RBIs of his own. Next up for the Golden Flashes will be a trip to Columbus for a Wednesday game against Ohio State at 6 o'clock. Shifting back home to Kent, the softball team dropped their 13th straight game as they were swept in a 3-game series against Ball State. The final game was played on Saturday and was a 6-12 Cardinals win to push Kent State to 0-11 in conference play. The Golden Flashes offense was led by sophomore catcher Leilani Johnson, who knocked in 2 RBIs off of 2 hits. Looking ahead for the Flashes, they will travel up to Michigan for a 3-game set against Central Michigan that starts on Friday at 3 o'clock. Heading over to Akron, the Kent State lacrosse team came up short against the Zips, losing 14-9 on Sunday. This knocks the Flashes down to 1-2 in MAC play on the season. The Golden Flashes were led by junior Zeta Crumpton, who netted 3 goals to go along with 1 assist. Sophomore Morgan Haley and junior Lizzie Lundeen both scored 2 goals in the losing effort. The Flashes will be back in action on Wednesday as they stay on the road for a matchup against Louisville at 12 o'clock. And wrapping things up in Cleveland, the Cavaliers were in action against Sacramento Kings up 28-7. Domantas Sabonis late in the first would get the 3 to go. Kings now up 37-33. Cavs trying to get in it as Donovan Mitchell would find Evan Mobley on the lob, flushing it in. Third quarter now, 79-75. DeMar DeRozan would get the up and under to go, and he would try to score again, but would airball it. The ball, though, would ricochet all the way out to Zach LaVine for the 3. We now go to the fourth, where the Kings up 10. Donovan Mitchell, though, trying to keep Cleveland in it as he would get a tough and-wood layup. He'd finish with 19 points on the game. 1-point game now. Kings up. Ty Jerome with the pump fake and the floater gets it to go. Cleveland takes the lead. Sacramento would wind up back in front, 110-109 here late in the fourth. Shot clock going down. DeMar DeRozan with the 3. He'd finish with 28. And so Zach LaVine would hit a step-back 3 of his own to finish with 37 in the 120-113 win on the road. And for all things sports and more, tune into Sports Corner tonight at 8, which is being worked on right behind me. And check us out at kentstater.com. For KSTV, I'm Maddox Miller.
One new mother is breaking records and helping her kind. Learn more about this woman and her new babies and when you could potentially see them.
Kids will spend 15 minutes watching online videos like this one.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes twice a day. They have the time.
It's never too late to become a mother, and one Galapagos tortoise knows this to be true. 97-year-old mommy gave birth to 4 tortoises this past Friday. The birth of the quartet is helping the endangered problem surrounding the species with less than 50 existing. Mommy is estimated to be hatched around 1932, making her the oldest first-time mom. The babies are expected to make their public appearance on April 23rd.
That's all the time we have tonight. Thank you so much for joining us.
For these stories and more, check out kentstater.com and our socials at kentstater. For KSTV News, I'm Nikki Gajeski.
And I'm Michael Neenan. Have a great night, Portage County.
I don't remember how it started. Our back and forth. Victory. Fumble. Repeat. It always came back.
Okay, here we go, throw it! Yeah.
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Nice.
Can you help me?
Mom, Dad, we're going out.
Thank you.
Oh, look, they're playing chess.
What you got there?
Will you help my mom?
She's real sick, huh? Hey, crew, I'll give the first move to anyone who's